My role at the convention and my purpose is threefold: to inform, encourage people to be involved, and to inspire them. Some people believe that Barack Obama cannot be beat. If I believed that, I wouldn't be here. And one of the things that I plan to do is to share with people why that is not an inevitability, and secondly, to inspire them to believe that the Republican Party will come together around our ultimate nominee. So that's my purpose.
Is there a chance that nominee will be yourself?
Probably not. The numbers are in Mitt Romney's favor right now. And as you know, it's a numbers game. But I point out to people that the process has been unpredictable since the beginning. If you go all the way back to Iowa, it was almost a three-way split. Then you got New Hampshire, and then South Carolina. It's been unpredictable, and I happen to believe that the rest of this process will also be unpredictable. You've got North Carolina. North Carolina matters more this time around than the last time around because of proportional allocation of delegates, because some states changed their date and lost some delegates. So North Carolina matters. It may not have mattered before, but it matters a lot. And then the other aspect of it is you still have some of the bigger states like Texas and California that have not weighed in yet. So I think we're going to be in for some more unexpected results as this process continues to unfold.
Is there a chance if we move to more than one ballot to see your name nominated from the floor?
I happen to believe that God has a plan. And I never say never, but at this point I am not making any plans to be on a ballot if we happen to go to a second ballot. I never planned to run for president. That was an unexpected step on my part because of a number of reasons. Probably harder than making the decision to run for president was making the decision to stop running for president. But I decided to put family first. And I decided to put family first, and I'm glad that I did that because I did not want to continue to have the media put them through the pain that they were enjoying. So as far as the possibility of a second ballot or broker convention, here again, we'll see how things unfold.
You mentioned the numbers game, Mr. Cain. Clearly, you can leave that there, actually. Clearly, Mitt Romney is way out in front in terms of delegates. Are you among the growing chorus of people calling for candidates like Gingrich and Santorum to stop and unite? Are we at that point right now?
I'm not amongst that chorus, and here's why. I believe that Speaker Gingrich should get out of the race when Speaker Gingrich decides he should get out of the race. I believe that Rick Santorum should get out of the race when he decides he should get out of the race. And the reason I say that is the people should decide. And until all of the votes are counted and all of the delegates have been, either legally committed or not legally committed, that's when we make the decision. The perception that extending this process is a negative to the Republican Party, I think there's two sides to that. Hypothetically, suppose everybody drops out because Mitt has such a big lead. That's more time for Barack Obama and his administration to try to destroy our candidate. Right now, they are not sure. They think that they know. And then secondly, if the process works out that we have a broker convention, that's the people speaking. So I'm not amongst that chorus that believes anybody should drop out at this point.
Anything surprise you in the race, having the media background and business and political background coming into this, that you said, I didn't expect that during the presidential run, even having been around this so long?
The thing in this race that surprised me the most, I did not expect, and that was a series of false accusations and one online publication that made it their mission in life to try and destroy my reputation. And that surprised me. I believe I surprised a lot of people in this race, which is why there are some elements out there that did not want to see me succeed. I don't know who all those elements were, but when one publication writes hundreds of articles about the same false accusations over the course of a month, you know that that's not what I call professional journalism. Yes.
You've talked about uniting to defeat Barack Obama, but do you think the Republican Party can unite in a timely fashion to be competitive with the Democrats? I've seen that the Republicans are having a lot of difficulty even trying to define who they are. Do you think that they'll be able to do that?
I believe they'll be able to do that. But whoever is the ultimate nominee, let me also say for the record, I will support whoever the Republican nominee is. That's number one. Number two, I will also consult with the ultimate Republican nominee and give them the benefit of what I'm learning being out here, not as a candidate. One of the reasons I'm continuing my solutions revolution, I'm continuing to speak, is that I get feedback from the base. I get feedback from people, and I want to be able to pass that on. But the biggest thing that our ultimate nominee is going to have to do in order to win is to be more specific and bold in the ideas that they put on the table. Specific and bold. That's why I was so successful in the campaign. People thought that 999 was not only specific, it was bold, and it was simple. And I'm going to try to encourage them to take on some of those ideas. So I believe that the party will unite around solutions after we determine who the nominee is. That's how we're going to be able to bring the party together. Yes, sir.
Where do you think the race would be had the allegations not surfaced? How do you think you would have done in the primaries after?
If those false allegations had not surfaced, I am confident that I would still be in the top 3 contending for the Republican nomination, and here's why. I was number 1 in an average of all of the national polls for 4 straight weeks. Secondly, I had the highest positive intensity score that Gallup measures of any of the candidates by a long shot. Thirdly, my message, my bold message of 999, energy independence, serious spending restraints, was resonating with the voters and resonating with the American people. And if you go back and look at some of the polls by state, I even led some of the polls that were taken at one point in time right here in North Carolina. I led the polls in a lot of other states. So I was very strong in that regard, which is why I believe those false accusations were trumped up against me, because I obviously scared somebody in terms of my success.
Not sure how much you know about North Carolina, but Democratic Governor Bev Perdue is not running for election, and Republican Pat McCrory is the leading candidate at this point. Have you had any interactions with him, or have any thoughts about the Republican nominee for governor here?
No, I have not. I'm not familiar with that at all. I have been mostly focused on the presidential race, presidential candidates, and the national issues, so I don't have a comment on it because I'm not familiar with it.
Barack Obama won North Carolina last time around by a fairly slim margin. What do you think about the prospects of him winning here? He's also challenging for Georgia, using the same kind of strategy, a state you know well. You think that strategy will work?
No, and here's why. When Barack Obama ran the last time, a lot of people were excited about false enthusiasm. He was able to sell a lot of voters on the theme of hope and change. The difference now is people now know what that hope is, and they want another change. And they want another change because they now realize that this administration is arrogant. You can quote me. This administration has had failed policies, but they won't admit it. This administration forced Obamacare down the throats of the American people because all of the polls showed when he signed it that the American people didn't think this was a solution. And so if you have a candidate that is able to draw that distinction, he will not be able to get elected on his inspirational speeches. People are now looking below the speeches, past the teleprompter, and they're looking for results. So I don't think it's going to be as easy for him this time around.
Take this question and one more.
What
Yes.
is the absolute most important thing for the next president to do for the country?
Boost this economy is the most important thing for this next president to do.
And how?
And the way you do that is You start by throwing out the current tax code and you put in a bold new structure. Some people have been big proponents of the fair tax. I've been a big proponent of the fair tax for years, but I just don't think that the general public is ready for the fair tax, which is why it didn't get the traction when Governor Mike Huckabee ran on the fair tax. 999 has gotten some traction, and quite frankly, I don't care who passes it. I don't care who gets credit. If we do not throw out the current tax code, this economy for the foreseeable future will be in the doldrums. We cannot tax our way to prosperity. We cannot spend our way to prosperity, and that's why I believe that that is the single biggest thing that the next president must do.